Majesties, call forth the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of the Royal University of the MidRealm. Causa huis congregationis est ut gratiae condentatur, us grades conferantur, nesson ut alia paragantur, qua ad hanc regis universitatem spectant. The reason for this gathering is that the graces be granted and degrees be conferred, and that other business which concerns this venerable university be transacted. Today is the second in-person commencement for the Royal University under the program instituted by Dame Eleanor over 2 years ago. As we continue to return to a more normal approximation of activities, we celebrate all of the work that has gone into keeping the RUM alive. To commemorate this moment, we have turned to a ceremony as ancient as St. Francis of Assisi and the Temple of Angkor Wat and the Magna Carta. With your permission, we will proceed with the presentation of degrees. Ego prepositus adjunctrix testor omnibus candidatis quorum nomina vel regis universitatem et decanos statim submattentur vel in schedualis e prepositus rit publica erant gratia a collegis vel scholastatibus suis pro gradibus cessititas concessas fuisse et isdem mihi satisfacie. The Royal University certifies that all the candidates whose names have been published by the university have been granted graces by their colleges or societies for the degrees asked, and that they have satisfied me as Chancellor.
I am the Honorable Lady Elisabetta, Vice Chancellor of the Royal University of the MidRealm. Tommaso Franceschi, who has completed all that is required by the guidelines for the degree of Lector of the RUM, except in so far as dispensation has been granted, ask the Venerable Gathering of Deans that these things may suffice for admission to the following degree. I do.
The leave of the university has been granted.
Her Majesty, Annelyse, and Balthazar the Painter, who have completed all that is required by the guidelines for the degree of Lecentate of the RUM, except in so far as dispensation has been granted, ask the Venerable Gathering of Deans that these things may suffice for admission to the following degree.
Aye.
Aye.
The leave of the university has been granted.
Fiona O'Mara, who has completed all that is required by the guidelines for the degree of Graduate of the RUM, except in so far as dispensation has been granted, ask the Venerable Gathering of Deans that these things may suffice for admission to the following degree.
Aye. The leave of the university has been granted.
Rissy Thorgrimsson, who has completed all that is required by the guidelines for the degree of Adept of the RUM, except in so far as dispensation has been granted, ask the Venerable Gathering of Deans that these things may suffice for admission to the following degree.
Aye.
Aye.
The leave of the university has been granted. In virtue of my own authority and that of the whole university, I hereby admit to their degree all those who have been permitted to supplicate in absence, as was set forth in the registrar's lists. They are Antonio Di Sforza, Enchantadora Pluma del Dragon, Gwyneth Pendelwyn, and Jamie Von Atzinger.
Most distinguished majesties, deans, instructors, and students, I present to you these scholars in that they may be admitted to the degree of Lector, Lecentate, Graduate, or Adept. Tommaso Franceschi, Her Majesty Annelyse, Balthazar the painter, Fionn O'Mara, and Brissy Thorgenson.
You've received a degree today. Please come forward. Nam igniculus lux. The Royal University is about love of knowledge, those possessed of insatiable curiosity, a desire to learn more, to know more, to help others learn and know more, whether it be to improve a skill, begin a new skill, or just because you want to know something. Every time something is taught or learned, the light of knowledge and learning intensifies. For the past 2 years, the Royal University has been a lit brand, an illuminated sign, and a warm hearth as we have navigated our way through the storm and winds of this plague. We, you, all of you, have been a guiding light, telling the kingdom and the society, this is the way home. From the time that humans began painting stories on cave walls, to Homer's oral histories of the Trojans, Greeks, and the Olympians, Sun Tzu's Art of War, the great chronicle of King Alfred, the Quipu language of the Incas, the golden ode of Imru Kays, and the writings of Copernicus, we have sought to learn and disseminate knowledge, to increase the light and reduce the darkness. We follow in the footsteps of our predecessors and standing on their shoulders, on the foundations of what has come before, and in the future, our children and our children's children will build on what we have given them. Nam igniculus lux. The literal translation of this is, for even the spark is light. But the word igniculus also means ardor or love. So for even the spark is light, but also for even love is light. When I became the provost of the Royal University 4 years ago, I had no intent of becoming the chancellor. When I became vice chancellor 2 years ago, I still had no intent of becoming chancellor. My research is about as minimal as I can get away with. I don't teach particularly popular topics. I'm not really a historian in the classic sense of the term. But in my 4 years and counting of direct involvement in this university, I have seen unparalleled passion and love and dedication for even the most obscure trivia. Because even obscure trivia is knowledge, and we wish to know more. I am in awe of the people in this room and watching online. I appreciate you all. I am proud to be your chancellor. I want to call out 2 people. Enchantadora, who does not live in this kingdom and watched every single MidRealm YouTube video in the last 2.5 months. She got 5 degrees today. And Antonio, who I think has attended every single online class that the MidRealm University has offered, received another degree today, on top of the degree that he received at the last graduation, and the one that he received at the graduation before that, and the one that he received at the graduation before that. These are people who love knowledge. I want to thank Mistress Asala and Lady Tamsin, the event stewards, for this wonderful site, and for their staff. I want to thank my Vice Chancellor, the Honorable Lady Elizabeta, Baroness Jahanara, all my deans and teachers, and everyone else who's helped. I thank your Majesties and your Highnesses and their staffs. But most importantly, I thank all of the students without whom we would have been talking to the walls. Thank you all for coming to this event. Thank you for supporting the Royal University, one MidRealm. So now, Your Majesties, Beings, Kingdom and Society, I present unto all the lectors, licentiates, graduates, adepts of the Royal University of the MidRealm for the year AS 56, Nam Igniculus Lux.
For
Thank
all
you.
the recipients, Draco!